Hello, everyone, and welcome to Unlocking Local Resources in Glasgow, a guide to ALISS. It's great to see so many people join us online today. My name is Faiza Hansraj Jackson, and I'm a public health practitioner specialist at the Glasgow Centre for Population Health, and I'm also the coordinator for Glasgow's Cash First project. Today's session will tell you more about ALISS, which is a local information system for Scotland, and how it can be used to connect individuals and communities to local health and wellbeing services, resources, and support networks. The presentation will be followed by a live demonstration of how to use ALISS, and it will also give you the opportunity to ask some questions. Before we start, I just want to let you know that today's webinar is being recorded, and we will circulate the link to the recording to participants. You will also be able to access the link on the GCPH website, along with other GCPH webinars. If you have any questions for our speaker today, please use the Q&A function only. We will do our best to get your questions answered, but we might not be able to ask all of them due to the high number of attendees that are already here today. We would ask you to use the Q&A function only for questions rather than general comments. Our events team will be using the chat function to post links that are relevant to the presentations. I'm now pleased to introduce you to Amber. Amber is the Community Engagement Officer for the ALISS programme, which is part of the wider Health and Social Care Alliance Scotland. Amber aims to support and enable citizens, professionals, communities and organisations to share and maintain information about local assets and resources using ALISS. Her work includes actively engaging a range of stakeholders with a view to increase the usage of ALISS and supporting the continuous improvement of the system. Amber is going to start by giving us an introduction to ALISS. I'll hand over to you now, Amber.
Thanks very much, Faiza. And yeah, thanks so much for having me. And it's great to be here. So I'm just going to share my screen. Great. So yeah, as I said, as Faiza mentioned, my name is Amber and I work for the ALISS team, which stands for a local information system for Scotland. And I'm an engagement officer for ALISS. So today I'm going to be talking about ALISS and how to really make the most of it as a tool within your job roles. So I'll be giving a brief overview of ALISS, and then I will go on to the website to make a search and show you all the different features. And yeah, if anyone has any questions as well, as I mentioned, please pop them in the Q&A function, and then we can hopefully answer some at the end. And yeah, so ALISS is actually part of the wider Health and Social Care Alliance Scotland. So for those of you that haven't heard of it before, it's a membership organisation. It's built up of kind of people with lived experience, people with long-term conditions, and also third sector organisations as well. And yeah, you can join to be a member, and with that you get access to lots of our different events and our resources. We have several different programs within the Alliance, such as our Community Links Worker Programme. We also have self-management team. We work with the long COVID policy as well, and lots more. And as part of our wider digital health and social care team within the Alliance, we've actually got a Discover Digital guide that we've made, and I always like to kind of share this guide as it's such a great resource, and I think someone will be popping it in the chat today just now. So yeah, it's an amazing guide that we kind of take across communities in Scotland to improve digital inclusion. So yeah, definitely check that out if you haven't seen it already. So ALISS is an online platform which helps make local information more findable with the help of local communities, organisations and professionals. Everything on there has been co-produced, so it's been added by organisations and members of the public themselves. ALISS aims to ensure that everyone in Scotland has the right information, the right time, and it's to ensure that they access these resources that are able to help them live well and stay connected to their community. So the resources that you find on ALISS are added and edited by people living and working in the community, which means it's local knowledge, which is really valuable. And it means that if you can't find the service that you're looking for, you can actually add it to ALISS yourself by creating an account, which I will show you later on. And just a bit of background on how ALISS came about. It basically was created because it was soon realized after speaking to people with lived experience, um, that there were many services out there in Scotland that could help people's health and well-being, but either that information was um very hard to find. So if it was online, it was in lots of different places, or it was just through word of mouth or leaflets and things like that. And so we wanted to create one list um, of resources that people could find in a variety of different places that were familiar or accessible to them. So this is how ALISS came about. And we just have a list here of kind of different supports, groups, and services that are on ALISS. So it's important to note the wide range that is on there, as long as it's there to help people's health and well-being. Um, so it can help, ALISS can help you find information about resources that can provide support to help you manage your long-term conditions, enable social and community connections. It can support creative, cultural, or physical activity. It can also link to a range of practical, legal, and financial support. And finally, can also give you resources and supports on digital related technology. So yeah, really a wide range of things that are on ALISS. And currently, if you would like to just search on ALISS, you don't have to have an account. You can just kind of go on there and have a browse through the services. Um, but if you would like to add an account, you just have to have the top one there, which is the basic account. So I would definitely recommend signing up after this if you haven't already. A basic account is just you just need an email, so it can be your work email or your personal email, and create a username and password. So with a basic account, it's really good for the general public, or if you just want to kind of browse services and maybe just add one or two listings to ALISS yourself, because if with a basic account, we will then have to approve each service that you add. Um, if you are an organization or a health and social care professional, or you think that you might be adding quite a few listings to ALISS, then we would definitely recommend signing up for an editor account, which is the second one there. So all that we ask is that you run through a training with us like this, but it would just be focused more on how to add services to ALISS. So if you think after the session that it's something that you or your team might be interested in, then we could definitely arrange that too. And that means that you would then be able to add services without waiting for them to be approved by our team. Um, and finally, we have acclaimed organizations, and I will explain that in the next few slides. So firstly, I'm just showing you a screenshot of the homepage of ALISS. As I mentioned, I will go on and show you how it works and everything. But yeah, just so you can kind of see what it looks like right now. You can currently search um, three different ways, either using where. So that's the default option, and that could be either using postcode, an area, or a city in Scotland. You can also search using what, so that would be a keyword, and that's more specific. If you kind of know what you're looking for, such as mental health support or counseling or something like that. And you can finally at the bottom, you can click on the categories there, and which I'll show you in more detail. So we've tried to make ALISS as user friendly as possible so that everyone is able to use it, which obviously is quite a hard job. But we try to make it really simple, easy to use, and we continuously take feedback on how to make it easier to navigate, which we then take back to our service designer who will try and implement those changes. So At the end of this, we will be handing out a survey, and if you have any comments on what you think or anything that could be improved, we would really appreciate that because yeah, it's only as good as what people make of it. So yeah, definitely always encourage feedback. And this is just what the search results look like. So as I said, I'll go into more detail on this on the actual ALISS website, but it's just so you can see how it looks. No. So claiming. When you're on ALISS, you might see that there are service listings that have a claimed badge next to the name. So you can see there it's a little blue claim badge. So basically, claiming it kind of works like the verified tick on Twitter or X. So it allows people that share their information the opportunity to have ownership of that information, and it also prevents other ALICE editors from editing it. Also, it means that a verified ALICE account user has claimed the information on the page, and it means that they're responsible for keeping it accurate and up to date. So each organization and service can have a claimed user, and they can also have multiple managers maintaining that information. As a user, it means that it kind of makes different services, groups, and activities more legitimate, more trustworthy. As you know, it's a verified organization or a group that have added it. So all that you would do is you kind of, I'll show you when we go on ALICE, but you click claim this organization, you put in your details, and we would just verify that. So this is just another way, another thing we've introduced to help with credibility on ALICE. So as I mentioned before, we didn't just want ALICE to be used on our ALICE website. We want that information to be widely accessible in lots of different places. So we have actually made it so that you can pull the data from ALICE and put it on your own website. So we want to reduce duplication, make it easier for organizations. And so our API link is available to anyone who would like it, and then you're able to actually embed ALICE or the ALICE search bar on your website. So the main one is NHS Inform, Scotland's service directory, health and wellbeing part of that. It's actually all the same information as ALICE. Um, and yeah, so we are funded by the Scottish Government, and so anything you add to ALICE will be added to the NHS Inform Health and Wellbeing Directory, which is really great. And sometimes people are more likely to trust NHS Inform, and even though it's the same data. So that's a big one. We also have lots of other like organisations in Scotland that are doing that. So we've had other councils and TSIs that have been using our data. For example, Aberdeen City, they have embedded the ALICE search bar onto their website. East Ayrshire have done the same. Shetland have actually just pulled through all the data that is specific to Shetland, and they've created a directory, um, their own kind of directory online, which is great. So it's, people are more likely to go on something that is local to them, and we have, done all the hard work for Shetland. Um, and we also have Glasgow Community Food Network, who have also done the same, which I'll show you in a second as well. So you can see that the fact that these supports and activities show up on a wide range of directories and websites, it can really help you get the word out about all the activities that are going on in different places. So it's really good coverage if you do have run a group or have an activity in Scotland. It also shows that ALICE is a really good tool for signposting. So when you are working in communities, if you're a support worker, for example, quite often people come to you with one support that they need, but actually there's so many other things that they need support with. And so showing them ALICE is really helpful because, there's such a wide range of activities and resources on there. So this is the NHS Inform Health and Wellbeing Directory, where all of the same wellbeing services, groups, resources are shown on here that are on ALICE too. And this is, as I mentioned, Glasgow Community Food Network. So if you haven't seen it already, it's another amazing resource. they have actually used all the data that is related specifically to food and money advice services in Glasgow, and they have embedded that onto their website in the form of a map. So when you go on their website, it's a local food services map, and it's all the same data as ALISS, but obviously just related to food and money. But it's really user friendly map, and we've actually had so much good feedback about it that we have inspired us to create our own kind of customizable map. So I will talk about that um later on too. Um, we also filmed an interview with the Community Food Network to highlight the amazing work that they've been doing. Also to discuss our links with them. So I think someone will be popping a link in the chat to the interview on our Alliance Live website, YouTube channel, sorry. So yeah, it's just we speak about the benefits that you get from kind of partnering with ALISS, and speak more about how good the food map has been. So it's really useful to see that. And maybe if you're interested in partnering with us, then you can watch the video and see the benefits. So yeah, we're always keen on doing more case studies like that. So please get in touch if you think your organization would be interested in that. So I've just put my details on here. I'm going to go on the ALICE website and run through how to make a search and the different features and updates that we have. Um, as I said before, please don't hesitate to get in touch with us. My email's at the top there, and our social media, and then our website. Yeah, if you would like any more support with ALICE or editor training, then yeah, please get in touch.
Much for such an informative presentation, Amber. It was absolutely jam-packed with content. A lot to take in. But really great that you're telling us all about this. So next up, you're going to give us a live demo of how ALICE works. So ready whenever you are.
Thank you, Faisa. Yeah, there's a lot of information, and yeah, it is a lot to take in. So apologies if it is too much. So this is Al's homepage. And yeah, for those of you who haven't seen it before, it's just alice.org. And yeah, this is what it looks like. And as I mentioned before, there are three kind of main ways to make a search. So yeah, this is the where button, and this is where you would either type in a city, area, or postcode in Scotland. You have the what button, which is keywords such as transport or mental health. These are the categories. So you will be able to search for them within the search results. If you just would like to search a general category, you can scroll through these here. We have things like conditions, digital, education, environment, food and nutrition, and so forth. We also have an AI search assistant. So if I click on here, it will bring up our ALICE Intelligent Assistant. And this is another way of being able to make a search on ALICE. So if you would like more of kind of conversation, then you could type in, I am looking for ALICE in Glasgow. And then it would maybe ask some more questions like what area do you live in or how old are you? And then it will come up with results. So that's just another way of searching ALICE as well. Some features to point out. So at the top here, we have our About ALICE page. So if you would click on that, we have created a tour of ALICE video. So this is again after this, if we finish this presentation and you forget everything, you can go back on here, you can watch this video, and this gives you a tour of all the different features and everything. And further down, if you click on the ALICE Help Center, we've actually created lots of short video guides on how to do everything on ALICE. So from registering as a new user, to adding to ALICE, to claiming collections. So again, yeah, I would definitely check these out if you are stuck when you're on ALICE and you'd like some more information. We've also got some guides on how to kind of add to ALICE and how to create the best summary and things like that. And that's our contact information on the right hand side there. So if I go back to the homepage, we also have our accessibility tools. So when I click on here, it comes up with our Reach Step toolbar. And if you click on the question mark icon, it will tell you what each icon does. So this is such an amazing toolbar, and it's been really helpful for people out in communities. It can do things like read the page out loud. It can highlight specific text. It can provide written and spoken translations in multiple languages. So if I go on here, you can see how many different languages there are, and it can translate the whole of Alice into that. So that's our support workers and links workers have really found it useful when they are working with people who English isn't their first language. Um, so that's really good. And yeah, so it's lots of different accessibility features there. Which again is a really useful tool to have. Um, and then if you would like to make an account, which I would definitely recommend doing because you get access to the dashboard, which I'll show you now. So this is where you would log in or sign up. So to register as a new user, you click there, and all that we ask it, you put in your name, a username, email. You don't have to put in a number or postcode. Your name and email will never be shown to anyone who uses Alice. It's just for our own purposes, but yeah, it will never be shared. It will just be your username. So this is where you would create an account. So if I log into my account, um, you can see it takes you to your dashboard. So this is a feature that you get when you have a basic account, and it's a really good way of keeping up to date with everything on Alice. It's your kind of your own platform, which is unique to you and everything that you've added on Alice. So it's really good to have, and it kind of makes feel like you're part of this Alice network, which is really nice. And it would be, yeah, it's amazing to have so many people in Scotland using it. Um, so different features, you can access the help centre from here. You can see all the organisations on Alice, so you could search through all of them if you'd like to. You can see which organisations you've added personally and also the services that you've added. So if you would like to go through and check them, you can also, this is where you would check what services you've added and whether they need to be updated. Um, so we send a yearly reminder to everyone who has added something to Alice and would say, please check your services. It's been over 12 months since they've been updated or reviewed. And so what you would do is you click on here and you would click um, review. So there's a couple that I need to review here. And then that means that your information is up to date and accurate. It also means that if you don't check your information within this time period, then it will be deprioritized from the search results until it's been reviewed. So that just means it gets kind of moved to the bottom of the search results page. We do send another email after a month and then another one after another month, just to ensure people don't miss the email. But yeah, it's all just to kind of help with accountability and credibility because people were kind of worried about how we can ensure that the groups were still running, things were still there. So yeah, this is just to keep for that accuracy. If I go back on to my dashboard, a few other things. This is where you could see all your claims. So remember I mentioned the kind of verified badge, that's there, and also your collections. So if I go in my collections, so collections are another really useful feature in Alice. When you make a search and you find a service that you are really keen on and or perhaps you're supporting a group of people and you would like to find certain services for them, you create a collection and add it to them. So if I go in my Glasgow collection, for example, so I've got some collections in here. Once you have your collection, you can email that collection. So you could email to someone you work with or someone you're supporting, and it doesn't come from your own email, it comes from the Alice email, which is really good. You can also print out for those who don't have access to the internet or a printer, or you can delete it as well. So yeah, I'll show you how to add to collections when we go make a search. But yeah, that's just another really useful feature as well. So if I go back on to the homepage, we also have quick exit button. So you can click this if people maybe are worried about their safety or would like to quickly get off ALISS, and you can click that as well. Um, and just at the bottom here, we have our social media and we have our API link, which I mentioned. Anyone can take data from ALISS and embed it onto their website, and so you or your developer could use that too. So I'm going to make a search now. Um, so for example, if I just type in, so I could type in Glasgow, or I could type in a postcode of where I work or live, or I could type in a general area. So, for example, if I just do Fields, Glasgow, and it will come up with different recommendations. So you can see here that there are 1,687 results, and there's no way you want to be scrolling through all of them. So this is where you really whittle it down and help you find what you're looking for more easily. So on the left-hand side, we have lots of different sort and filter options. So by default is always sorted by distance, so nearest to furthest to the postcode that you've entered. Or so, for example, because I typed in Pollokshields, it will type in the postcode that is most central to Pollokshields. You can also sort it by last updated, A to Z, or recently added as well. And yep, just a mention there on any information that hasn't been reviewed in 12 months will be moved to the end of your search results to prioritize up-to-date information on ALISS. So within the area or postcode that you've searched, you could then type in a keyword. So if you're really looking for something specific, such as food banks in Pollokshields, you could type in food bank here and search there. Could also change the area or postcode again within the search results. We also have distance. So if you or yourself don't have access to public transport or you don't have a car, then you could click 15-minute walk. Or if you wanted something further, you could do 30-minute drive, or you could customize the distance as well. We also have coverage. So again, if you would like maybe services that are more local just to you, your area, then you could click here. Or you could um, find services that are more national, so all over Scotland. So these would be bigger organisations, or you could just leave that all. And then we have categories. So this is where you really kind of whittle it down. You can see all the categories we have here. Within that, they go further. So, for example, if I click conditions, you can see it goes further into addictions, disability, long COVID, mental health, and so forth. Um, I'll go on some others to show you. So we have digital. So you can see we have digital hubs, digital access, digital inclusion. You can also select quite a few at the same time. Obviously this will go really specific. Um, we have food and nutrition. So as I mentioned, Glasgow Community Food Network have obviously just taken the food services. So this is all they've taken. So within that, you can go further to food banks, got free meals, community gardens, community cafes, have health and social care services. So you could click things like respite, support networks, therapy, and within that, it goes even further. And we have complementary therapies, counselling. Um, we have housing and homelessness. Um, we also have, let me click here, membership networks. So if you would like to see, as I mentioned before, alliances built up of members. So you can click here to see the different alliance members. And we also have things like Community Mental Health and Wellbeing Fund, self-management funded projects, and the Scottish Cancer Coalition. So these are all filters that we've added from working with organizations who felt it would be really useful to have this on. So again, if you think, oh, that would be really good to have, um, a certain membership network on ALISS, then please get in touch about that as well. So yeah, you can see there's so many different categories and you can really go as specific as you want. You don't have to, obviously. And then further down, we have accessibility. So when you're adding a service, you can actually click um, any of these features if you know that there is a specific accessibility feature that your service has. So again, if you're the person you're supporting really definitely needs an accessible toilet or gender neutral toilet, or a hearing loop, then you can click these. So again, it's just really helping people to find these services that are really specific to them, and just trying to make it as easy as possible. And finally, we have the who category. So again, this is if you are working with a certain group of people or yourself, you know that you would like a group that's really specific to you, such as for ethnic minorities or older adults, then you can click one of these categories as well. So you can see it really goes quite specific. So those are all the sort and filter options. Um, and so if I just click, for example, housing. So this is housing in Pollock Shields, and it will go from because it started from nearest to furthest. So you can see now there's only 112 results. Um, and when you go down the search results, there will always be the name of the group or the service or the activity. It will say delivered by, so this is the organization or the group running it. It will say last updated. So as I mentioned before, we always send out yearly reminders for people to review their information. So um, that this is just again to help with accountability. And then there'll be a short summary of what the group entails. And then you can see the little claim badge. So these are all claimed as well. Um, so yeah, so if I just go further down, you can see the different results that we have. So if I just click on this, so this is the Money House, and you can click on the name of the group or service, and it will take you to more information. So you can see that there is more information on what the group or service entails. There is sometimes a picture, and then we have a map. So you can add as many addresses as you want. And sometimes, there are services that have lots of different addresses. You could also put that it's virtual as well. So this just has one address, and you can click on the address, and it actually takes you to Google Maps where you can get directions, which is really great as well. And yep, you can just see that there, and you can see the different categories here. On the right hand side, there's always some contact information. So it will either have it will take you directly to their website. Um, They'll have a phone number, sometimes social media, an email. So there'll always be at least one contact information. And then we have actions. So with this page, you could share it via email. So again, if you think, oh, this is really useful for someone, you could share it. And again, it wouldn't come from your own email, it would come from the ALISS email. You could print this listing, just this one directly, or you can add to collection, which is what I showed you earlier. So if you click here, you can either save it to one of your own collections or create a new one. And then you can save that and send your collection or print it out. We also have this option here. So this service has been claimed, as you can see the badge, but you can help to keep this page up to date by requesting to help manage the information. So perhaps you run the group with someone, or you're a volunteer there, so you'd like to help manage the information on ALISS. So you could click here and we would just check that out for you and maybe approve it. Can also help to improve this listing. So again, we want to make sure that all the information is up to date and accurate. So if you see something, so it's all, we might not know what's going on with the group down in Dumfries, for example, and so we really want to make sure that yeah, if you see anything missing or inaccurate, you're able to let us know. So here you would just click let us know. You just put your name and email and just say, oh, I know that this group has stopped running or something like that, and that we will then check that out. So that's just another useful feature there. So those are all the kind of actions that you can do. And yeah, I think once you start using it more and more, and obviously once there is a lot added on Alice in your area, it's such an amazing resource. It's really useful for signposting, and I feel like it can really make your job a lot easier if you are out in communities and working with the public. Um, so finally, I won't have enough time to show you how to add a service to Alice, but I will just show you kind of how you go about it. As I mentioned, we can offer more training on that. We also have the videos as well. But yeah, so here you would click Add to Alice. And as I mentioned, you'd have to have a basic account for it or an editor account. So before adding your organization, you should always check if it's listed on Alice or because it might be on there, which means that you could then just add your service or group. So here you would search. So if I searched, for example, the Alliance, um, so you can see it's there, the Health and Social Care Alliance Scotland. So that means that I don't have to add that again, but I could go on there on the actions and add a service to the alliance. So they've already done the first part for me, which is great. Or if it's not on here, you would add Alice by clicking this button here. So this is the form. So you can see if you have started the form before, you can kind of come back to it, save it, come back to it. So this is where you would pick up where you left off. And at the bottom, we've just got some guidance. So it tells you all the different steps. So you would add in your organization details first, then the service details, then you would put in the locations, and then the categories, and then we have a few optional filters at the end, which I showed you. So you can add the hidden category, accessibility features, and any media if you would like, but you don't have to. Um, and we always ask that it's just good to have this information to hand before adding your service to Alice. So just like general details like the web address, phone number, email, social media, and things like that. And then on the right hand side, we have some helpful guides, again, just in case you're stuck on how to add to Alice. So you would click start the form, and yep, that's step 1 of 8. Um, and that's, yeah, adding the organization details. So yeah, it's quite like straightforward, basic step-by-step process. But yeah, if you do need help, always just get in touch with us and we're happy to help in any way possible. Um, a final thing that I would like to mention, so we are actually, I think as of next week, we will be um introducing analytics. So for those people that have added services to Alice and have an account, on my dashboard, we will actually have an analytics tab. And we've been working really hard on this. And it's going to be such a useful feature for people. I think particularly if you are part of an organization. So you will be able to see kind of how many people have clicked on your services, any data within your services and organizations you've added. But also you'll be able to see you'll be able to search for a city or an area in Scotland and see what who's how many people have searched for specific services. So you'll be able to see the gaps and what people are searching for, things like that, and you'll be able to download the report. So that's just another really useful feature that we'll have. Um, and finally, one last thing I'd like to mention. So as I mentioned before, with the Glasgow Community Food Network, actually I'll just go on their website. So this is the Glasgow Community Food Network website. I'm sure many of you have already seen it before. But this is their local food services map. Um, so yep, you can see here that all of the results have been collated by Alice. Um, and you can add your service through Alice, and then it will come up on here if it is related to if you've clicked the food or money advisors. So you can see here that it's all the same information. You can click within that, you can go money advice, food banks, and then it's in the form of a map. And you can click here and see each service. And then you also have the list at the bottom here. So we found that this is really user friendly and a lot of people are quite keen on having a map. So what we have done is we spoke to the developers and we decided to create our own customizable maps. So this is what it looks like. Um, this is not live yet. I think it will be in a few weeks. So basically what we wanted to do is we wanted to let organizations create a map view of um search results in their area and add it to their own website. So basically what Glasgow Community Food Network have done. So what you would do here is you would type in a location or region. So you could type in just Glasgow, for example. You could customize the distance. So if you just wanted it to be like few kilometers. You can then select a category. So if you were a housing association, for example, or um, you were a health and social care charity, you could click one of those. So if I just click housing there, you can also select a who category if you are specifically for care experienced people or ethnic minorities. You could click can then click update map and code, and it will automatically create a code for you that you're able to embed into your website, and it will embed it in the format of your own website, which is amazing. And on the right hand side, this is how it will look. So it's a preview. So you'll have the search bar there. You can either click all or housing and homelessness, and then you can see within Glasgow, all the different services that are related to housing and homelessness. Um, and within that, you can see each service, and we also have the list there. So this is a really exciting feature that we've been working on, and yeah, when it's ready, it'll be amazing for people to be able to embed this map onto their website. So yeah, hopefully that'll be live soon, and we can let you know about that as well. Um, we will also be sending out emails to our users just to ask them if they would like to subscribe to our newsletter. So this is again something that we're working on just to ensure that people know what we're up to. So things like analytics and our customizable maps. So you can ensure that you know all about it. So yeah, that will also be coming out soon. I think that's me. I feel like I've just spoken a lot at you, so it'd be nice to maybe answer some questions and yeah, hopefully get some feedback as well. I think we have a survey, so that will be put in the chat box, which would be amazing if you could fill out. And yeah, great to hear some feedback. So I'll stop sharing my screen.
That was great, Amber. I've used Alice before, and it has even more functionality than I was aware of. So really really great to see, and it's really great to see that there's more coming. I particularly like the sound of the map and being able to embed that into a website. That sounds brilliant.
Yeah,
And similarly, the analytics, yeah, that's really helpful as well. I'd like to say a huge thank you to you, Amber, and everyone for attending today. You'll see there's applause coming through, which is always a really nice touch, isn't it? This webinar was recorded. It will be made available after the event. As I mentioned, we'd really welcome your feedback and thoughts on the webinar, and we'll be sending you a follow-up email with the feedback form. It's also pasted in the chat. And finally, a very special thank you to the Glasgow Centre for Population Health Communications team for helping us put this event on today. And the claps are still coming, Amber. Revel in it. It's great, isn't it? It's nice.
it's great.
It's always nice to be appreciated. So thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. And we hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Bye now.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thanks.